Fenrir ODE to stream games over Wi-Fi. I think this was kind of like obvious. We knew this was coming. I mean, how could it not?
I mean, it still hit me like a truck, though.
It still hits you like a truck because it's incredibly exciting. This is what I want out of like every ODE. This is literally what I want. I just want to be able to download games to my network storage and just and I'll keep them. I have like terabytes, so I'll just have them unzipped, on my network storage and just be able to stream stuff from there, just like I would movies, with Plex or whatever, So it's so awesome that that this is, the ESP32 is super powerful, a super powerful microcontroller. It's got that onboard Wi-Fi module, and it's really just been a matter of time for him to update the firmware and get that working, So not only do developers have the ability to just shoot code over to the darn thing to test builds, just like that, which is going to be a huge quality of life improvement for developers. But then you've also got the ability now to stream games, so I mean, I can't imagine how useful that's going to be. So
incredibly useful.
Yeah, and if I was thinking like, okay, on one hand, the thought was that you would, from your computer over Wi-Fi, you would shoot new code to the SD card, right? But now it's like you might not even have to do that. You might just have a build in a place on your hard drive, and you just fire up the Saturn and you stream it from there, So it's like you don't even have to send the updates. So I don't know. Anyway, it's going to be super useful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like I mean, imagine a situation where you can just like the Wii, we just have a network storage, like put on a NAS.
Yes.
And just like have an entire Saturn directory with, like on your hard drive, it's like hundreds of gigabytes, and just shoot it directly to the Saturn over the network. Takes a little bit to load probably, but I mean that's still amazing. And
I'm gonna play this video just so you guys can see. So there's the boot up. No SD card.
The classic magician trick.
And Sega screen, and then Capcom logo, the video intro. I mean, it's pretty fast. There's not enough memory, I would imagine, that it's loading the game on. It's actually streaming data. But like I said, that ESP32 is so powerful. It's able to help control that process and help handle that data stream. So pretty cool. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. Why did they hide his message? But I'm really excited for that because I think something like that would be super useful. And like I said, it's reminiscent of the Xbox and the. I think you did that with the Wii, right? Have it
like network? some emulators, not the Wii. What am I? Not the Virtual Console, okay? But like some of the aftermarket emulators for Wii that you can get on the Wii Brew channel or whatever. A lot of those aftermarket emulators, especially the SNES 9X, has support for SMB share. So you can literally just map out where you want it to grab all the ROMs from, and you can keep them zipped too, and it will boot up, all the ROMs over the network. So like that's how I've been playing quite a few of the different like emulators on the Wii. And then of course the same thing goes for, I think Wii U had the same deal. I just don't have a Wii U right now anymore, so unfortunately. But
doing yourself a favor.
Yeah, well, don't say that in front of Cameron, because he's like a huge Cameron Graziano is like a huge Wii U fan, I know.
Yeah,
but, and I think actually I think Kay, A Murder of Crows, is a big Wii U fan too. But I don't hold that against.
Some solid stuff. I mean, I'm kind of hypocritical because I have my Wii set up on my Wii U set up in the living room, but mostly so I can play Wii games in HD.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something that it makes life so much easier, and that's what I would like to do instead of having to like constantly pull the SD card out. In fact, with the satiator, we're using satiator to constantly test out stuff and do stuff for the SHIRO show. So the main drag and my main I'm apprehensive about the fact that my putting in and pulling out the SD card so many times to be able to write new information to it is going to wear out not only the spring, but it's also going to just wear out the contacts. And I must say I'm a little concerned about that, but it can't be avoided because of what we do. Like, we're always testing new stuff, and every new SHIRO show, we've got something new that we're trying to stream or trying to show off. So It just is what it is. If I wear out my satiator, it won't be the first problem I have with my satiator.
Are you worried about the connection between the Saturn to the satiator to the Saturn, or the SD card to the satiator?
So right now I'm not touching the satiator itself. I know you mentioned you were worried about that as well, just because they didn't taper the edge connector. But no,
Yeah.
I've left it where it is. I'm more concerned about just putting in and pulling out the SD card so many times that I'm gonna either wear out the contacts or wear out the spring mechanism that's there to like help eject it, you know.
Well, what you could do is you could just pull out the micro SD card and slide it in there.
But I'm like reaching back behind. I have it in a set. I have my Saturn in a setup where I can't actually see the back.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like reaching my hand back there and like pushing it to eject, and I pull it out and, you know, do what I have to do and then pop it back on. But anyway, yeah, no, I mean this Wi-Fi thing is just really making me want a Fenrir. No joke. Not to mention,
I'm gonna get a hold of it eventually.
you should. I would love it if you did and did like a real in-depth review of it, because then, I mean, then we could even do like a shootout, you know, because you own all of them. You have a Rhea, you have a mode, you have the satiator, you'd have the Fenrir, and then you really could do like a 4-way shootout. That would be a cool article. I don't think anybody's actually done that, like 4-way comparison.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue I have right now is I don't own another Saturn to put a Fenrir in, so maybe I might hit up Peter and see if I could borrow.
Oh yeah,
I could borrow one or buy one off of him so I can test it, because I kind of.
he'd probably be like,
maybe
as long as you leave it in there. It's like, leave it in there when you give it back.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
But I kind of like, if I had 2 more, I think it'd be perfect, because I'd have each of them ready to go. I'd have one with a mode in it, one with a Fenrir in it, one with a satiator and the disk drive, and one with the Rhea. Of course, I wouldn't have a Phoebe, but it's the same thing, I guess. So I'm not really too concerned of my testing.
You know, Shadow Mask is saying he uses the USB port on the satiator, and even though it's slow, what is that, like USB 1 speed, or I don't know, but he says it's slow, but it works. And now I'm actually thinking, why don't I do that? I could just leave a USB cable kind of like plugged in there. I'd tape it down so there's no, like, I would tape it down somewhere so that there's no pressure being put on the port, but then I could just have it streaming down to my laptop and just, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I didn't even think to do that.
Just get a long micro SD port.
Shadow Mask, let me know what the speed on that is. I mean, you said it was not that fast, but or no, he straight up says it's slow. Anyway, let me know what the speed is though. Anyway, yeah, we've got a little bit of time. I think we should just wrap and get over into the game stream. But yeah, so exciting. Oh, you know what? I forgot to revise this article and let folks know that. Let me click on his. Let me click on Ced's thing. He just announced that the 21 pin would be back in stock like next week, I think. And then it's like, I imagine it's going to be out of stock really quick. So for folks that didn't get the first batch, it will be available Saturday, 26th of June at 1900 Paris time.
11 o'clock.
He said 1900 Paris time. Okay. Sunday, the 27th June. So anyway, yeah, so if you're wanting a 21 pin Fenrir, it'll be available on Saturday the 26th, tomorrow. So yeah, keep an eye out and grab one while you can, because I imagine they'll probably go out of stock, and then it'll be a little while till he's able to. But hey, you know, that's awesome. At least, you know, they're getting restocked, you know, pretty frequently. And the same for Satiator too. I know they were out for a while, but you know, he was able to restock fairly quickly, and everybody was able to get one.
Isn't it crazy how far we come to where we're fighting over the Rhea and the Phoebe, and now we can just easily get.
Yeah, now we have to decide which one we want to go with. You know, that's the thing. It used to be like you'd take whatever you could get. Now it's like, which one do I go with? And I mean, even a lot can be said for the Rhea and the Phoebe still. You know, that they are rock solid in compatibility, and lots of folks still using those. So, you know, I know Kay is still using his quite extensively. So.
Yeah, I still use mine too. It's in my kiosk now, so it has a new little home for all the times I want to have some party games if people come over.
Yeah, For me, it wasn't to be. I tried getting one. You know what? I had an opportunity and I passed on it. It was the same time you got yours. I had an opportunity and it just didn't have the cash. And it's like a month later, I had the cash and not the opportunity. And then after that, I kept looking and I never synced up to the time when they were available. So, you know, it wasn't to be, you know, and then I got the mode and then I got the satiator and now I want a Fenrir because of the Wi-Fi module.
Yeah, and the cool thing a lot of people don't realize is that with the Fenrir, there's no, all it is an update. It's not like you have to buy a new revision. All you have to do is, even if you have the older ones, just update it and it's good to go.
So the old 20 pins still had that microcontroller on there, the revised ones.
I believe so.
Yeah, it was there. It's like it was there from the beginning. He always kind of planned on implementing, and it was really just a matter of writing the code and getting it all working. To actually implement, because that microcontroller has built-in Bluetooth and Wi-Fi actually. So I mean, he could even implement Bluetooth in a future update. So there's a lot going for it actually. I can even click on it here. This is the site. We can read up more on the ESP32. And
it's kind of funny. We always considered it. We always considered it to be the smallest and the most really underused and sort of like the smaller ODE, but now it's like up there with the mode. Like I'd have to say, if I had to pick mode over Fenrir, I'd probably have to go with the Fenrir.
For Saturn, for sure. Yeah. No question. I mean, and I think that's the thing, is you just don't really need it to be that big. I think it's that big. I think mode is that big because they wanted it to just kind of clamp down into the Dreamcast. To me, mode just seems like it was really designed for Dreamcast #1 primarily, and then Saturn is like it can do it, and I mean it still works. It fits in there pretty nice and still works, but it just seems like it was meant for the Dreamcast. You know, the way that the connector is just soldered there on the board and you just plug it in. It's so simple. The mode was really made for the Dreamcast, and then this right here is super easy to use for the Saturn. So it's probably the same amount of you know, if you could install a mode, you could install a Fenrir for sure, you know.
Yeah, it's fairly simple. It's very easy to do, and I really like it. I think the only caveat is that the Fenrir uses micro SD only compared to the mode that uses the SSD, but with the Wi-Fi module, I don't think it's going to matter anymore.
Right. And I mean, honestly, regular SD is kind of going to disappear, you know, over the next few years. Micro SD, just because devices, especially IoT devices and everything, are just getting smaller and smaller. And so, you know, Apple kind of leads the way there, you know, getting rid of ports and trying to like slim things down. It just doesn't seem like many laptops and many devices will have like full-size SD card slots, because it's even hard to find high capacity SD cards that aren't just like micro SD cards in a shell, you know. So that's the thing, you know.
Yeah, it's a bit of a sadness, really.
But it's not that sad. I mean, it's not like boohoo sad.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's not that much sadness, I guess. But yeah, I do think it's nice to have a big terabyte hard drive. But yeah, like I said, I think the future is going to be having a big terabyte hard drive in your computer and just shooting it over to your Saturn.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, I only have a 1 terabyte hard drive in my mode for my Dreamcast, and I have every game that I want to play in there, and I haven't scratched the surface of. I mean, I haven't put a dent.
Yeah, I think I have about 300 gigs left in it, like all the games I want to play on there. So I have plenty of room for more indie games, so that's mostly what it's for, and that's really all I'm adding to it, is more the indie games I'm buying. So
and you got all the Atomic Wave stuff on there?
Yep, all the Atomic Wave, all the indie games I buy. So like I know I have Battle Crust on there. I have Pure Solar. I have was it Stormwind? Whatever it's called. And of course now Xenocider and Xeno Crisis. So
nice.
Yeah, I would recommend picking those up if you haven't. But yeah, the Fenrir is better than ever, and I think if you have been sleeping on it, I think maybe it's about time that you woke up and picked one up, because right now I think it's the cheapest and the most innovative one out there at this moment.
And the compatibility, I've heard from everyone who counts in my book, all the guys that are like into it, on the developer side, swear by it. They say compatibility is high. It's always getting better. He's constantly, issuing new firmware updates. He's on top of it. He's on top of restocking, and he's on top of the firmware updates. And I mean, with this, it just, so it just proves that you have peace of mind knowing that you're going to be covered. You're not going to be stuck with a device that ceases to have compatibility or ceases to have support. But the one thing is, be sure to grab one now, and hopefully, don't be going on any kind of, foreign Eastern website to try to get one that's like a clone or something. I'm really against that. I'm really against them, people out there just stealing board designs, because they get a hold of it for one reason or another. Maybe they're a parts supplier or something like that. They get a hold of the blueprint, or not blueprint. They get a hold of the board, and I can't think of the word right now. But anyway, yeah. So they get a hold of it and then they make a clone, and I hate that, because that really undercuts what these guys are doing,
I think the word's bootlegging it.
Bootlegging it, yeah, essentially. So buy from Sed, because he seems like a cool guy, all about giving the Saturn community what they want, which is an awesome ODE that's gonna like do everything for you, except for get you dressed in the morning.
I don't know about that, but yeah,
you have to do that.
But yeah, for like, was it $100 or less than $100? I mean, it's worth every penny of it.
Yeah, actually,
because, I mean, you can't even get like a decent Saturn game for $100 anymore.
I want to check that. Let's see, Fenrir shop. I linked it here, and we'll go English. Let's see. So 100 euros.
Oh yeah,
taxes included. Taxes included. So I mean, it's like you can't. So this is going to be available tomorrow. You guys got to jump on this if you. Now I don't know what shipping is going to be. I haven't bought one yet, so I can't speak to that. But anyway, I mean, it's might take a while to get to you. I don't know with everything that's going on in the world still, but it'll be worth it. So